Well, I've had a very interesting and enlightening morning and afternoon. And it started with me on a determined path to find myself R95 masks. And I ended up phoning every supplier, even outside of town to smaller towns, and found that every R95 mask has been gone from every medical supplier for over a month. And they don't expect a delivery until May or June. So there you have it. My city in Regina, Saskatchewan is completely unprotected, not even able to find a painting mask of R95 or a mask that's used for pesticide use. So I went looking for those as well. And I had already started that hunt the other day with no luck. The only thing I could find was this charcoal, this odor respirator for carbon layer odor reduction. That won't cut it with the coronavirus, or COVID-19 as it's now known. There were dust masks, and they had those stocked, but everything else, gone. Yep. Now, I looked at this the other day and I thought, Martine, that's rather excessive. And you know what? It's not. And honestly, I'm starting to think it's the better buy of. The problem is the masks are all gone. So if somebody's been stockpiling them, they're going to be quite expensive. Now in the store, they're about $10 each. So I can't imagine what price they would be if somebody is stockpiling. And if you can't get them at all, then that's going to be a pretty bad position to be in. So here is the 3M Cool Flow respirator. Now this was the only one I could find. There was one other that was an a P95, and this is a P100. So this is actually better than the R95 mask that you can't find anywhere. And it's also really good for organic vapor and acid gas. And I thought, well, hey, you never know if I'm at a protest or something. It might come in handy. Yeah. Now, interestingly enough, it was funny as I was in the section because I ended up getting the manager of the entire department store. And we had a really interesting conversation. And it kind of goes like this. It's a similar conversation I've had with a lot of people. Is I start talking about the lack of masks and they respond and they try to mitigate it slightly. But then the more you talk to them, you find out that they're actually on it themselves. And within about 3 minutes into the conversation, the man I was talking to admitted that his wife was 100% on it. She had masks. She had from SARS, and she was 100% prepared just in case. The fact that all these stores are out of even the masks that would protect us from the coronavirus that are also used in other industries like painting and areas where they're doing fine dust and things like that. We have zero protection. So that is going to impact how this thing rolls out because we're not going to be able to move and groove out there without protection. Because the guesstimations are that mid-April it's going to hit hard, and we've got March break coming up. People with their plans, traveling, doing this, doing that, but the thing is you can't even get a mask to get on a plane to get out of here. You can't from anywhere. it gets me wondering about why in the world we are relying on China for basics that will protect us from something like this coronavirus. And the fact that biologicals will be a part of our world and now are part of our world. And it's getting to, clearly, we're not prepared. Interestingly enough, though, lots of people are getting kind of prepared, aren't they? Except none of us knew about it. Nobody is talking about it. They're going out and they're doing it, and they're not letting you know. Which led to another interesting conversation I had later today. In fact, I just finished. An old friend of mine from Ontario, she lives outside of Toronto. And of course, she's been on it for some time. And in fact, after Fukushima, she invested in P100 disposable masks. And, our conversation today was fun because she didn't need them last time, but she may need them this time. And she still got them ready to go. The problem is, if you are one of those people that is prepared, everybody seems to know that you have to keep that pretty quiet. It's not something you announce. If you've got water, if the water goes out, or if you've got electricity, or a generator, if you have masks, everybody's going to want something. And my friend, is rather concerned about the fact that she has her small daughter and they're outside of Toronto and relatively safe now. But if things run out, she's a little worried. So she's got a plan. And I was so impressed because I've got a plan of my own in formulation right now. We need to. And we have to stop waiting for who. This is on. Particularly when we don't have basic protection. Why are we making masks in China? That's ridiculous. We should be having every essential that Canada requires should be made here, if possible. Makes me look at this whole global model as absolute stupidity and exposure to everything. And exposure is exactly the problem. We're overexposed. And clearly I can see it because, again, people have been on top of this situation for a while, clearing out everything. The only thing you're going to start finding here are these respirators, and they're a little bit more expensive than just the masks. But then economically, this one, once I open it, it has 6 months. So considering what the price of those masks are going to be, you're probably way better off with something like this. Although it does look like you're from some sort of sci-fi movie. I got blue. Kind of go with, it's a teal blue, so it'll kind of go with every outfit. I hope it doesn't come down to that. I really do. But I feel I'm getting prepared, just like getting the duct tape, plastic bags. I'm creating a list, actually. And because I also have other requirements, vitamins, minerals, all the things I need to keep myself strong if I have to keep myself indoors for a while. I'm okay with that. It'll suck if the internet goes out. It really will. But if that's the case, then that's the case. I am getting prepared though, because our lack of preparedness is my fear. And the fact that people aren't even acknowledging this. And it's hard when you know who is not acknowledging it and doing their job. And again, I have to wonder who they're actually working for, because it's not really human health here. And why aren't our authorities or media talking about the fact that we are completely ill prepared? It's time to take matters into your own hands here. I'd say so. Don't wait for you know who. It's going to be a time where we're going to have to be a little creative as things move ahead. And I really do worry that most people will not have the basics. And that's going to mean a plan of being around home for a while for all of us, if in fact it's unleashed where you live. And it's looking that way. So sit down, start having a discussion. And if somebody won't discuss it with you, or you think that, they're silly for getting ahead of it, I'm telling you right now, you're behind it. You're not even close to ahead of it right now. None of us are. And it doesn't just extend to a virus, it's any eventuality. We're vulnerable. Globalism makes us vulnerable, and they know it. If you haven't subscribed, I would love to have you here, and please hit a like. That's always wonderful. And of course, Instagram and Facebook. We'll see you again.